Today we are going to look at solving multi-step inequalities. So the first thing that we need to do is just a couple reminders of things we should already know. So we should know how to graph inequalities on a number line. So there can be lots of rules that teachers maybe have about including zero or having numbers on both ends. I'm just going to tell you what I need to see is 3 numbers on your number line where the number that's given is in the middle and you have 1 number to the left and 1 number to the right. Okay. Right, then we look at this inequality sign. So our rules tell us that if there is no or equal to, right, this inequality sign is just greater than, then this is going to be an open circle at 4 because we do not include 4 in the solution set, right? 4 is not a possible answer. Then we want all the numbers greater than 4. So we want 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So numbers greater than 4 are numbers to the right. So we would shade on our number line to the right. Okay, so if we look at number 2, -7, so we're gonna have 3 numbers on our number line. Now be really careful with your negatives because this is -7, this one over here is -8, this is -6. When it is an or equal to, so this is less than or equal to, that means we are going to use a solid circle, a filled in circle, because -7 is in the solution set, right? It can be an answer. And numbers less than -7 are numbers to the left. Okay, so one way you can think about that is less than is left when you're shading. Now this only works if your variable is written first. So when we say 6 is greater than A, that's not the way that we want to interpret an inequality. We always want our variable, our letter, to be the first thing that we see. So if I'm going to rewrite this with the variable first, I'm going to switch my A and 6, I'm going to switch the positions that they're in, but then that's also going to flip my inequality sign. So some of my students have heard the concept that you want the alligator, right? The mouth sort of there eating the same number. You have to flip that inequality sign when you flip the order of the variable and the number. Okay, so we make our number line. I'm going to put 6 in the middle. So this is less than, not less than or equal to. So this is going to be an open circle. And numbers less than 6 are to the left. Okay, and then when I look at my next one over here, again, I do not have the variable first. So I'm going to rewrite that. I'm going to switch my W and my -2.5. Okay, I'm going to flip my inequality sign when I make that flip. Now, here's my rule with halves. We just have to approximate them on the number line. So I'm fine with you putting like -2, -3, -4, something like that, and just approximating that -2.5 is in the middle. Okay, so I'm putting my -2.5 in the middle of -2 and -3. So I know this is going to be a filled in circle because this is or equal to. Right, and then I'm going to shade to the right because numbers greater than that are to the right. Now the other piece that we want to be able to do is then solve the inequality to get to that solution set. So we solve multi-step inequalities just like we solve multi-step equations. So all those steps that we have previously in our notes are the exact same steps we're going to use. The one additional piece that we have to keep in mind is that we have to flip the inequality sign, and this should be something you already know as well. Okay, we flip the inequality sign whenever we multiply or divide by a negative number. So when we're multiplying or dividing by a negative number, when the number that we're moving is negative through multiplication or division, we have to flip the inequality sign. So for example, if I look at number 5 here, right, this is one that we struggled with an equation. So just a reminder, this right here is multiplication. And we undo multiplication with division, so I'm dividing by -6. Okay, right here I am dividing by a negative to solve. So just like before, right, those cancel, this is x, this is -7. The difference is that my inequality sign is going to change directions. Now, if I wanted to, not every single problem is going to ask you to do this, but if I wanted to, I could then graph this solution right? By putting -7 on my number line. This symbol less than tells me an open circle, and I would shade to the left. Number 6, right? I'm going to undo division with multiplication, so I'm going to multiply both sides by -3. Again, I am multiplying by a negative. So if I'm multiplying by a negative, that is a reason to flip the inequality sign. So my sign is going to flip. I'll get y is greater than or equal to 21. Okay, if I look at number 7, right? Now number 7, I'm dividing by 4. The number that I'm moving is positive. Doesn't matter what that 12 is. That 12 can be positive, that 12 can be negative, that 12 can be anything at once. This 4 that I'm dividing by is positive, so my inequality sign is not going to flip. Again, we could graph the answer. We don't have to graph the answer every time. You'll have to read the directions and see what it says. Okay, so let's look at number 8. So if I want to solve this, right, this 3 is attached in the addition and subtraction world, which means I'm looking in front of it. That 3 is positive, so I am going to have to make that a negative. Subtraction is never a reason to flip the sign. So I'm just taking -8 minus 3. My inequality sign is staying the same. That leaves me with a -5w. I will then undo multiplication with division, so I'm going to divide by -5. Dividing is a reason to flip the inequality sign as long as what I'm dividing by is negative. So what I'm dividing by is negative, so this will become an 11/5, right? 2 negatives make a positive, and I'm going to flip that inequality sign. Now remember what we set up above. This isn't the way that we want to write our final answer, right? We want that variable first. So we're going to have to flip to rewrite with this variable first, which is also a reason to flip that inequality sign. So our big trick today is really following that inequality sign all the way through. So if we look at number 9, so the first thing we're going to do is distribute. So I'm going to distribute this 3 all the way through. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times -2 is a -6. Now, I did multiplication there, but that is never a reason to, distributing isn't a reason to move or to flip the inequality sign, because distributing is just simplifying. Distributing isn't solving. Okay, then we'll undo subtracting 6 by adding 6. And we will undo multiplication with division. None of these are reasons to flip the sign. So I will get x is less than 11/3. Number 10, right? That fraction bar goes all the way through. So when that fraction bar goes all the way through, I need to move that -5 first. So I'm going to undo division with multiplication. Right? Those just cancel. It does not affect my numerator. So I'll get 8 plus x is greater than or equal to oops, I multiplied by a negative. All right, I got going faster. I got to flip that sign, so that's going to be a -60. Then I can move that 8, so I'll have x is less than or equal to -68. Okay, we'll look at number 11. Again, we have this long fraction bar here, but this 4 is not part of it. So I need to move this 4 first. So I'm going to add 4 to each side. So I'll have a minus 10 all divided by 4. Adding 4 is not a reason to flip the inequality sign. And now I can undo that division with multiplication. So a minus 10, -40. Then I'm going to undo my subtraction with addition. So we'll get a is less than or equal to -30. Last one we're going to look at here. So again, we have a fraction. Do not let that fraction freak you out. If you need to use a calculator, that's fine, whether that's a handheld calculator or Desmos. We do have more than one variable. So if we have more than one variable, we need to get those together. So I'm going to have -3 is greater than 11b minus 4b, right? I'm using the sign in front. So that's going to give me a 7b. Then just like I would normally do, I'm going to undo addition with subtraction. So if you need a calculator to help you with -3 minus 1/4, that's just going to give us a -3 1/4. And then we're going to undo multiplication with division. So even I'm going to check this one. So I'm going to put this in my calculator. And that's going to give me a -13/28. Okay, I divided by a +7. So even though this -3/4 is negative, the number that I'm dividing by is positive. So that is not a reason to flip the sign. However, I do want my final answer with that variable first. So I'm going to rewrite this by switching those sides and flipping that inequality sign when I rewrite it.